We decided to make this a podcast episode because while we were on today's call, we do a call every month with our investors. And while we were on the call today, I just kept feeling like, wow, this is stuff that we want everybody to have access to, information, conversations, just stuff that we were sharing. I've had people come to me and, again, we run an investment fund and one of the things we invest in is cryptocurrencies. And I've had people say, oh my gosh, crypto's down. I'm like, who are you listening to? Like, where are you getting your information? Because the truth is that this is the way that the markets work. And when people are running and scared and selling, that's usually when the investors that have been doing this a long time or invest as a full-time job, they are sitting tight. They are not being emotional. They are making decisions based on just what they know to be true and what their convictions are. And they're not running and selling right away when things go bad. And so I think it's important that everybody has access to information from people that are like Jonathan does this all day. This is what he does. He's been doing it for a very long time. And so also we have a biblical kingdom perspective on things. So we don't operate in fear and we think of things from like the lens of long term and hope and not like false hope and not, what is it called? Like toxic positivity, but from analyzing things and doing it all from a kingdom and biblical perspective. So we wanted to make this conversation. We've done this once before where we've kind of put out one of our conversations with our investors. We wanted to do that again. We wanted you to have access to this kind of information and hear from us. And honestly, I tell Jonathan all the time, I'm like, you just need to be sharing this every day with people because I don't think there are enough people out there talking about economics and politics and investing and different asset classes with the depth and the knowledge that he has, as well as from a kingdom and biblical perspective. So I pray that this is just something that is helpful for you, gives you a ton of information, and also just settles you if you are having any sorts of uncertainty or doubt around investing. So enjoy.
You were created to live abundantly and multiply in every area of your life. But let's be honest, the road isn't always easy.
We know that firsthand. We've been through highs and lows, from losing everything to now managing an investment fund, and we're still on the journey.
This podcast isn't about having it all figured out. It's about real stories, kingdom principles, and trusting God with what's already in your hands.
On Mandate to Multiply, we go deep into faith, family, finances, and other topics, sharing what we've learned and what we're still learning as we walk it out with Jesus.
If you're ready to think bigger, live boldly, and multiply what matters most,
then you're in the right place. We're Jonathan and Melissa Edmiston, and this is Mandate to Multiply.
Okay, it's that time of the month again where we all get together, all of us on the screen. I'm kidding.
Happy June.
June. I can't believe it.
2026 is almost halfway over. It's crazy.
Yeah, we just said to Craig, they don't work in the summer. And so, or they're not, I shouldn't say you don't work in the summer. I don't know what you do in the summer, but you're not in the school. You're not teaching. You're not in the school system. And so it's like, and I started thinking, I'm like, wait, this is our second summer with you guys. This is just as wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be 2 years in August. So we're just excited. So monthly call. We always say we like to have FaceTime with you guys, whether things are amazing, not so amazing. We will always have FaceTime with you so that you can see our faces, hear our voices, ask anything and everything you want. We are an open book, full transparency. And also, I think the part that maybe isn't utilized enough or taken advantage of enough by everyone is just having kingdom-minded people to share and talk about economics and politics and finances and asset classes and all the things. And so we really want you guys to take advantage of this time and come and see our faces. Really, we want to see your faces. And because I know I've talked to people recently, I'm not going to go on too much of a tangent, but I will say this before we start. I've talked to people recently and they'll say, oh, but so-and-so said, or I heard this, or this is happening. And I always ask, like, who told you that? Like, where are you getting this information? Who are you listening to? And so I think who we hear information from, anything and everything we share with you will always be non-biased. We don't have an agenda. We don't need to convince you of anything, but we want you to hear from people who are in their Bible every day and like think of things from a kingdom mindset. And so what a gift that we have this space. I just want you guys to make sure that you're taking advantage of it so that you are educated and aware, and you can go have conversations that are from a place of the perspective that we all want to be educated in. So
yeah, to piggyback off that, I had somebody come to me about 2 weeks ago and say, "Hey, did you hear about the Trump coin that is going to wipe out all of our assets and money and replace our money and everything? We're going to lose everything." And I'm like, "Where did you hear that from?"
yeah.
And they sent it to me, and I started tracking it down. And of course, it's just a rumor mill, and it's just something to generate fear and to get people to sign up and pay for their newsletter and stuff like that. And it's really just clickbait. So be careful of what you're listening to. Make sure it's from credible sources. Make sure, you pray about it. And if it just doesn't sound right or sit right, like even if you can't make it to these calls, we are a resource for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I do full time. I research the markets. I look at what's going on in the world. Melissa gets mad at me because I spend so much time digesting news and things that are going on in current events in the world, because it's important to how we approach different trading aspects of the fund. And so I am a resource that is available for you guys if you have questions about what is going on in the world or come across something like that, and it creates fear, uncertainty, doubt. We call it FUD, F-U-D, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and anything that is going on that you come across. So use us. We're here for you for that.
And to that, we believe so much that we need to be in community with the right people and that you guys need to be hearing from us. And we want to make sure that we're staying connected to you even more than just this once a month. So we're going to have weekly emails going out to you going forward. I'm in the process of spending lots of time getting all that set up so that it's systematic and structured and just continuously happening, that you're hearing directly from Jonathan, directly from me on a weekly basis, so that we can just be just that source of good information for you guys. So stay tuned. It may be coming from the Mandate to Multiply email. We're kind of putting everything under one umbrella just for my brain and for just simplicity. So it'll be like Mandate to Multiply Invest, Mandate to Multiply Podcast. So we have different, tiers under that, but anything from Mandate to Multiply is coming from Jonathan and I. So stay tuned for that. All right, want to get started on some updates and
so the biggest thing that a lot of people are asking is, where are the K1s?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry it has taken this long. It is something that we are still working on with the new third-party administration. I was on a call yesterday with the attorney that built the fund for us, that structured all the documents. Very, very long story short, what the new third-party admin is saying is that there was contradictory language in the PPM and the LPA that they needed cleared up, because we have been promoting the fund a certain way, because that is the way we operate. The attorney said it's just an administrative amendment that he has to make to everything that'll satisfy the third party administrator. But as soon as they get that, they will be able to have all that. Now, they did give us an updated timeline. I sent it to Melissa, but the main focus is getting those K1s. They have to process everything for last year and get November and December's accounting completed, and then we can get those K1s out.
which they're saying December would be completed by July 15th.
Okay. They did say that they could move it up if they got everything from the attorney. I emailed the attorney before we got on the call, and because he was supposed to get it to me yesterday after our call, and then I still don't have it. So
they need to move that up.
yeah, well, it was, yeah. So
Yes.
it's something that we're constantly fighting. It's top of mind, and I'm not happy about it, but we have to get it done right. As we continue to build, we want to make sure it's right now, so that as we continue to grow and build and everything, that it doesn't create problems down the road. So it is taking longer than we had hoped. That was promised. But we're still going to bat, and we're still fighting very hard to get that done. I wish I could give you, it will be done by this date with confidence, but I don't like to write checks that I can't cash.
Yeah, they tried to give us a date like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, I'm not saying it until we know for certain, until I have them in our inbox, or, we know we have them. I don't want to say that.
So stay tuned. Hopefully in the next week or two, we'll have a more solidified date on those. But just know that they are top of mind with us, and we are working on those daily and weekly to get those out because we know how important those are for you. Once we get 2025 wrapped up, the K1's out, then there's a schedule to get January, February, March, the accounting packages for each month out as well. Number two, your distributions went out today. So if you haven't checked your email, they should be there. Again, we are continuing making profits on the passive income side. I have gotten out of the gold trade. Gold is not acting the way gold normally acts. Normally, when there's a war, when there's uncertainty in the world, when there's a lot going on, gold goes up. Gold is not going up right now. Gold is going down. So when we see anomalies like this, when we see things that don't act the way that they should be acting, we get out, we stand aside, and we let things play out the way that they should. When we're dealing with leverage and trading and things like that, we need to have an edge. And if there's no edge to be had, then it's just gambling. And we don't want to gamble. We want to make sure we have an edge. We want to make sure that the trades that we're taking are part of a system, and that system has a track record for being productive. And when gold is out of alignment, we're just going to stand aside and see what happens. So we're out of the gold trade, but our options trades are doing great. We are selling options. We are holding stocks. We have puts that we have purchased to protect the downside exposure, because even though things keep going up in the natural, I'm like, how high can they continue to go? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of, I won't say fear, there's a lot of caution in me in how far things can continue to go up, because they have gone up so hard, so fast, so much. And it's just like, gravity is not a suggestion. Mm-hmm. It is a law. What goes up must come down, right? Now, with the stock market, it's a little bit different because of inflation and other issues. It will always continue to go up, and it will always just keep going up and up and up. But there are pullbacks that are healthy in the market. And also, what I like to see is a slow, steady increase. I don't like these parabolic moves in the stock market, because when it shoots up one day, like yesterday, or it was Friday and yesterday, we saw huge sell-offs in the markets. But because we have the put protection, we're limited to our downside risk exposure. Because we own the stocks, we will be profiting on those on the way up. We also profit from the dividends. I like dividend heavy stocks because they're paying out. And then we also sell calls against the stocks. It's called a covered call position, to where I can sell out of the money calls and collect a premium on those every single week, so that we can generate that passive income. So this is a very solid strategy that we've been using to generate those monthly income distributions that we are sending out. With this type of strategy, I mean, we can do it to hundreds of millions of dollars. So there's no limit on how much we can do. So that's how we're continuing to pay out. We're out of the Forex positions, like I said, out of the gold position. But if we see gold starting to make a move and starting to come back into its proper character, then we will look at that again. But for right now, the options is going great, in addition to some credit spreads and some complicated structures that we're doing as well. So again, that just generates that monthly income. Crypto had a huge sell-off. Am I concerned? No. Are we down? Yes. Here's the thing. I am convinced Bitcoin is going to $1 million. Convinced. You cannot change my mind about that. Will it be next year? Will it be 5 years? I don't know. I don't know the timing of it, but I know it will get there. Currently, Bitcoin is trading at about $62,000, which is a huge discount. It's about a 45% discount of this recent high. So every day that we have that it's low, it's an opportunity to buy at a deep discount. We're dollar cost averaging in, we're adding to positions. We are not leveraged in any way with crypto, which means we cannot be liquidated on crypto. I do not believe crypto is going to zero. That would be the only way that we would lose money, is if crypto went to zero. And I don't think that's happening, not in this administration. The Trump family has made, I saw this report, I think yesterday or today, the Trump family has made $2.3 billion in the crypto industry in the past couple of years. Crypto isn't going anywhere except for up. Mm-hmm. as we get this Clarity Act passed, which is already passed the committee portion of the Senate, and it is now going to a floor vote. Apparently, they're working out a couple more items because the banks are not happy about it, because it's going to take money out of the banks.
Shocker.
And it's going to put it into the crypto industry, because people are going to be able to get 8, 9, 10% a year return on their money just for putting it on the crypto exchange, whereas a bank will pay you 0.2% in the form of a CD for depositing your money with them. They're not happy about it. They have deep pockets. They have politicians on their payroll, and they're trying to fight it. Once this finally passes, there's trillions of dollars of investment capital waiting on the sideline that is waiting to dump into this market. Currently, the market cap is only about $2 to $3 trillion. That's going to triple to quadruple, in my opinion, within 12 months. When we see that, Bitcoin is going to skyrocket, and everything else with it is going to follow. So it has taken longer than we had hoped and prayed and anticipated, but I remain as confident as ever of where it's going. I just don't have the timeline. So we continue to be patient. We continue to focus on the things that we can control, adding to our positions when we can, and just waiting for that parabolic move.
And I just want to say that's why it's so important who we are surrounded by and who we listen to, because I've had some investors reach out like, what's my account doing? What's going on? Because again, the reporting isn't what it's supposed to be, what we promised it would be. And, it's frustrating because I know we answered somebody recently and just said it is down, but we haven't exited those positions. So it's not like we've lost your money and it's gone. It's just where crypto is right now. But that is the reason that God asked us to start a fund. Because Jonathan can have such a non-emotional, strong conviction strategy and way of investing that isn't swayed by mainstream media and what everybody else is doing. That is not how multiplication happens. The people that make millions and even billions of dollars are not listening to the same thing we're listening to. Most people are listening to. They're not following the same thing that everybody else is doing. There's a reason that they are so separated and so set apart, is because they invest without all of the emotion, without, crypto's going down, sell, sell, sell. That's actually how they make money. I was listening to an example of Michael Saylor and how he is, has how much Bitcoin?
His company has over 800,000 Bitcoin, which
1,000 Bitcoin.
It represents about 4% of the total market share ever. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, and his company has over 800,000, and they're targeting 1 million Bitcoin by the end of this year. Like he is buying every single week.
Well, what I was hearing that he did is he doesn't ever usually sell any Bitcoin. He holds it. Well, recently he sold, I think it was like
32
Bitcoin. Okay. So he sells it, and everybody,
he had to pay out some dividends. So he sold 32 Bitcoin, which I don't know, was a couple $1 million. It wasn't like a ton of money for the amount that he had.
Right.
And then the next day,
what that triggered was all the emotional investors who just follow the hype or the moment, or they all sold. So many people, I forgot what the number was, sold their Bitcoin. Okay. Guess what Michael Saylor does the following day? Oh, Bitcoin dropped. Thanks, everybody. You all bought it based off of me just needing to pay off some dividends over here. He goes and buys 1,400 Bitcoin at the sale price.
Yeah.
And so it's like when we think about that, and you follow the people who have been doing this a long time, who have millions and billions of dollars, like they don't do it the way that we're all thinking in our finite or natural minds that it should go, right? So we're thinking Bitcoin's down, horrible investment, we made a mistake, run everybody. Yes, exactly. That's how money is made. We don't operate like that. And so it's important that you understand what you're invested in. We don't operate like that. We don't do things like that. We do things very differently. If you just stick around and trust us, it will pay off.
Yeah. I was reading an article about, I think it's Bits or something like that. It's an Ethereum fund. And he is currently sitting on $10 billion in unrealized losses right now. And you know what? He's still buying.
He's still buying more.
He's still buying more because he believes in it, and he's not making emotional decisions. I think it was Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time, said the time to buy is when there's blood in the streets and people running for the exit. The time to sell is when everybody's saying, oh, this is going to keep going up forever.
Yeah.
So, it's too many people get emotional around those times, and they let fear and greed, which are two of the strongest emotions that humans have, direct their investment. And what we just have to do is be convicted, know where the market's going, and just have the conviction to stay in and know that we're watching it. So It's hard some days. Trust me. I look at it and it's hard, and our money is in it too, and it's hard. Because we had big plans for when the market went up, and we were going to cash out and things that we wanted to do with it, and it just hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. But it is going to happen. If I had to start all over and had to pick a place to put money, it would still be in crypto and in Bitcoin and some of these big cap coins, because buying something for $62,000 today, knowing that in the next 5 years, it has a very solid chance of being at $1 million. I mean, just rough math. What is that? A 17x return somewhere in there? There's no other place that you're going to get those types of returns. So I want to help people shift from just a month to month, what's my account doing, to a longer term strategy and vision for where we know this is going. So if I could do anything, it's to help you see longer term and just know that we're playing the long game. We have that long-term conviction for where this market, this industry, and this fund is going. We believe in it, and our money's right there with it. And like I said, some days it's hard because I see it on a day-to-day basis, hour-to-hour basis, but we know where it's going. So that gives us the fortitude to hang in there and stick with it. Real estate, actually some numbers came out that were pretty good yesterday. It makes me think that buyers are starting to come back into the markets, even though the interest rates are really high. Or the inflation numbers came out this morning. They were about on par as what was expected, but what was expected was higher. It's only to be expected because of the war and things going on with energy. Energy is a big driving number in those things. And, I know Craig can testify that with gas in California, probably at $6 a gallon. I mean, we're at $3.50 here, and it was $2 a couple months ago, three or 4 months ago. So when the price of gas and oil go up, everything goes up, and we're temporarily feeling that. But I do believe that once we get a resolution to Iran, which it's hard to know what to believe, what is propaganda, what is truth, but I do believe that Trump has wiped out a lot of them, and they have no idea who's in control over there. So it's kind of hard to know what to listen to when it comes to, do we have a deal or do we not have a deal? I heard that they sent an offer, I think it was yesterday, and that it was Trump agreed to it, but then they shot down one of our helicopters, and then Trump responded the way Trump responds and blew up everything last night and today. So I don't know exactly how close we actually are to an agreement. Hopefully closer than most of us realize. It'll probably happen after hours or on the weekend is what I'm thinking, so it won't cause too much shock to the markets, but there's a small window every day that kind of announcement can be made. So we're just waiting to see on that. I do think that Kevin Warsh is the new Fed chairman, which he is very pro crypto. And I think he's trying to present himself as a little bit distant from the president, and not just he's going to do whatever Trump wants. But I think at the end of the day, he will do whatever Trump wants because Trump is the chief executive officer of the country. So I think he's trying to just give the appearance that the Fed is independent. But if I were president, one of the first things I would do is just get rid of the Fed. But that's a different story. The other thing I would get rid of is daylight savings time. I don't know why we still have that anymore. It just messes everything up, but that's another different story.
Jonathan for president.
Yeah. Yes. That's my platform. I'm going to get rid of daylight savings time and the Fed. Vote for me.
You have my vote.
So you'd make a great first lady.
Too, yeah.
So I don't know where I was. Oh, I do think interest rates will come down, but I don't think that they're going to be as fast as many of us would like it. But it does look like some buyers came back into the market based upon home sales. So interesting to watch that trend. Interesting to watch what the bonds do. The bonds are still really high, which signals uncertainty in the world. It's going to be interesting to watch what Warsh does. I think there's a meeting today, and then we'll start to get news of that meeting. He wants to get rid of things like the dot plot. The dot plot is used to tell how different individual members vote. And if you get rid of that, then I think there's less pressure on the individual members to hold a certain narrative because their vote isn't exposed. So if they want to lower rates, they can lower rates and just say, hey, the majority of us, without naming names, voted to lower rates, and we can finally get those rates down. The Fed has this dual mandate thing that they continuously talk about, which is controlling inflation, but also creating a strong jobs market. And we haven't seen jobs dip too much. So what we're kind of watching with there is obviously the biggest thing is the inflation. But I think as soon as the war comes to an end, that inflation will drop drastically, be back in a number that's acceptable, and that we'll start getting some rate cuts toward the end of this year. And hopefully that'll help decrease the interest rates. Big news this week, I think on Friday, SpaceX IPO hits. I think it's a $1.8 trillion IPO, one of the biggest in history. I think what I saw, it was 4 times oversubscribed.
Wow.
People trying to get in. A lot of times what we see with the IPO is, it launches, it shoots up, and then it crashes. So I don't like to play that game. A little bit too conservative for that, but we'll keep an eye on it because it's going to have an effect on the markets.
Right.
And we're just going to watch it and see what happens. What else?
I think that was it. We kind of covered all the main things that they wanted us to go over. I think that's everything.
Awesome. A lot of times they say sell in May and go away, but we're just not seeing that right now. We're not seeing huge sell-offs just yet. So we're just keeping an eye on things. And it's an interesting time that we're in with Iran and interest rates and just all that's going on. It's very, very interesting time. So we're monitoring it. We're on it, and we're here for you if you need anything.
And those of you that watch the replay, we hope this was helpful for you. We're always available. Like I said, text, call, anything you need. We're always here for you guys. So we'll see you next month, and be ready for some emails coming from us soon.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Before you go, remember, God can use anything. Even the hardest parts of your story can become seeds for multiplication.
If this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend, leave a review, or subscribe so you never miss a moment of hope and truth.
You can also follow us on Mandate to Multiply on Instagram or mandatetomultiply.com to keep growing with us.
Until next time, trust God, steward well what's in your hand,
and live a life fully multiplied.